Maybe you've realized that, even though you try to change, you end up returning to the same patterns that leave you dissatisfied and disconnected from who you really want to be. In today's video, we're going to talk about how certain impulses and behaviors, which many consider normal, can be undermining your strength, your vitality, and even your ability to achieve respect and harmony in relationships. If you want to understand how to preserve your energy and find a deeper balance, stay with me until the end. Let's explore how these choices affect your life and the transformative power of energy retention and mental discipline. There are two fundamental desires that guide virtually everything we do and think. It is believed that these desires were placed in us so that some things could happen almost inevitably. First, they ensure that we remain attached to our bodies, making this life experience, which some call a dream, seem extremely real. Second, these desires lead us on a path of evolution, both biologically and spiritually, and eventually direct us back to God or to what would be our divine origin. These desires guarantee the survival of the species and the continuity of the life cycle, fulfilling the purpose of this existence. The two main desires are to survive and to reproduce. The effects of the desire to reproduce are evident. Just look around. We see all kinds of rituals and norms, from flirting on social media to relationship conventions, all reflecting an attachment to the body and, often, an obsession with the act of relating. But the desire for survival is just as primordial, even if it manifests itself in a more subtle way. It may not seem obvious, but our desire for money, status, and security is, in essence, an amplified reflection of this survival drive. It is what makes us get up every day, work, and look for ways to protect and sustain our lives. Even the feelings of pleasure we have are actually biochemical responses to achievements that reinforce these most basic desires. From the moment we are born, we are trapped in this dualistic dream, attached to the body, and he tells us to survive and reproduce, creating the illusion that this is all extremely real. But as Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj said, in death, only the body dies. Life, no. Consciousness, no. Reality, no. He reminds us that we are not the body, and that even with physical death, the essence remains. What we call life may be an illusion, while true life is eternal. These desires have been shaped by God or nature, so that at some point we begin to question them and seek a deeper truth. The spiritual path is precisely this search, and practices such as semen retention can be a tool on this journey. This practice, if done with the intention of cutting off attachment to desires, helps to neutralize these primordial impulses, promoting inner peace and satisfaction. It is important, however, not to focus only on combating the desire for reproduction without also working on survival, as both are deeply connected. For example, if you practice retention and also adopt practices like intermittent fasting, addressing both cravings, the feeling of well-being and mental clarity can be unparalleled. On the other hand, if you ignore the desire to survive and continue to eat compulsively, even withholding, it is likely that you will only increase suffering, without much benefit. These deep desires are rooted in our biology, shaping our actions and motivating our life choices. The desire for survival leads us to seek security, food, and stability. It manifests itself in our work, our search for financial security, and even our desire for social recognition, as all of this increases our chances of survival and well-being. At the same time, the desire to reproduce drives us to establish connections, seek relationships, and invest in creating a family, ensuring the continuity of the species. The pleasures we feel, whether in moments of conquest or affection, are actually biochemical responses, especially mediated by dopamine, the neurotransmitter of pleasure. These feelings are like rewards that biology gives us for doing our duties, whether it's finding food or connecting with other people. These moments of pleasure encourage us to pursue what makes us survive and multiply. The practice of semen retention directly interacts with these basic desires, especially reproduction, moderating this impulse. Those who practice retention, by abstaining, choose to interrupt the constant cycle of desire and immediate satisfaction, breaking the fixation on physical pleasure and redirecting that energy towards broader personal growth. It is a practice that cultivates discipline and self-control, transforming energy that would otherwise be used briefly into a powerful force for higher goals and states of greater consciousness. Ancient cultures already used retention as a spiritual and energetic practice, and it was common among monks and ascetics. The idea behind this is that by avoiding loss of energy, the individual accumulates vitality called chi or prana, which strengthens both the body and mind. Today, semen retention is seen as a way to improve overall well-being, increase vitality, and even achieve deeper states of consciousness. In Taoism, semen retention is part of the practice of internal alchemy, where vital energy is transformed for spiritual and longevity benefits. This practice involves breathing, meditation, and physical postures to circulate this energy throughout the body, maintaining a balance that leads to inner peace and ultimately a state of enlightenment. Brahmacharya, a Hindu philosophy of self-sufficiency and elevation, goes even further, promoting the total retention and renunciation of libidinal desires, transforming this energy into practices aimed at self-realization. The goal here is to purify the mind and body, achieving a deeper spiritual connection and, eventually, union with the divine. Practicing retention requires more than simply avoiding ejaculation. It is necessary to work on transforming these impulses into something higher. This allows a release of the most basic instincts and redirects energy towards spiritual growth, where physical gratification gives way to inner development. This process is not immediate and requires practice, but over time, you realize that the bonds of duality and attachment begin to loosen, allowing a fuller life experience aligned with the peace and harmony of the present moment. These desires are not to imprison us, but to challenge us to seek greater truth and spiritual growth. They drive us on this journey of self-knowledge, where we learn to transcend worldly limitations and desires. By freeing oneself from this cycle, this path of liberation from primordial desires and inner discovery may seem like an enormous challenge, but it is precisely this search that leads us to a profound transformation and connects us to something much greater. By embracing this journey and allowing the weight of attachment to desires to fade, we enter a state of full presence, known as the eternal now. In this state, there are no constant worries about the past or anxiety about the future. There is only the present moment, where one experiences a peace and a sense of unity with the universe that goes beyond the limits of the mind and body. When someone can truly let go of these base impulses, they begin to see life from a new, more expansive perspective. Everyday activities, which once seemed to revolve around safety and pleasure, now take on a deeper purpose. This progressive detachment allows the ego to lose its hold on us, and what emerges is mental and spiritual clarity. There is a growing realization that we are not just individual beings, separate from others and the world, but an extension of universal consciousness. And this awareness leads us to realize that everything is interconnected. The practice of semen retention, as part of this journey, helps us break the cycle of impulses and rewards, helping to redirect our vital energy towards a higher purpose. Instead of wasting this energy on temporary gratifications, we transform it into fuel for spiritual development, which allows us to explore a deeper connection with ourselves and what many call the divine. Over time and with persistent practice, semen retention becomes more than a physical practice. It becomes a process of rediscovering our essence. Thus, we gradually let go of the illusions that we are just the body and mind and access a more direct and authentic experience of who we really are. Reaching the state of eternal now is like opening a door to a new reality. In it, you are no longer enslaved by the impulses of the body or the incessant voices of the mind. Instead, you begin to experience an inner freedom, where every moment is an opportunity to reconnect with your true essence. It is a state of serenity and unity where the duality of the world, this separation between self and other, dissolves, and all that remains is deep peace and understanding. But first of all, I have some news you didn't expect. I am Layert, and if you are ready to transform your life and raise your energy to levels never before imagined, the Semen Retention Success Path is the definitive guide you have been waiting for. I studied the 6 biggest topics of semen retention and brought it all together in more than 2 hours of an audiobook full of valuable insights for your development. Get ready for a journey of self-discovery and personal growth that goes beyond the conventional. Imagine unlocking immense vital energy, restoring your vitality, and achieving deep and lasting personal development. This audiobook is more than information. It is a key that opens the doors to new fulfillment and success. And there's more. When purchasing the Semen Retention Success Path, you also receive a 30% discount on my exclusive ebook, The Art of Semen Retention for Men, with more than 20 pages of powerful techniques for spiritual evolution, emotional balance, self-development, and connection with your life purpose. My mission is to help you unlock the true potential that resides within you. And I have one more news. Now you can become a supporter of the channel in our new Members tab. With this subscription, you will have access to exclusive YouTube benefits, as well as unique content. As a member, you will have privileges, and will be a great motivation for me to continue bringing news and delving even deeper into our topics here on the channel. Semen retention is one of the tools that can help you reach this state by teaching you how to redirect your vital energy and overcome the desires that often keep us tied to our earthly and material reality. But it is important to remember that this practice, like any other on the spiritual path, requires patience and dedication. It is not something that can be achieved overnight. It is an ongoing process that requires willpower and perseverance. When practicing retention, remember that we are not just seeking a physical or mental gain, but rather a deeper connection with our essence and an opening to universal consciousness. Each step on this journey brings us closer to the spiritual truth that resides within us, and over time, the practice transforms us from the inside out, freeing us from the limitations of ego and worldly desires. It's common to think we can keep our thoughts hidden, but the body often gives us away. When a person's mind is immersed in thoughts of a sexual nature, this is reflected in the way they act and speak, and others notice. In the same way that a man with good intentions carries good thoughts, someone with a mind tormented by fantasies also reveals this, often without even realizing it. The thoughts we feed have the power to shape who we are, so it is essential to be aware of the ideas we choose. Here, semen retention goes beyond the physical issue. It is about avoiding fantasies and thoughts that divert us from balance. This is one of the biggest benefits for those who practice this discipline. Imagine, being seen as someone who is constantly invasively pursuing something is something no one wants. When we talk about the term atsecador or persecutor, it carries a series of negative meanings that no one wants for their own identity. Often this word suggests behavior that goes against one's own values of respect and even physical and mental health. In ancient Greece, beauty was linked to morality and virtue, so when someone was seen as a persecutor, it often indicated a lack of control that was frowned upon. A man who insistently tries to get the attention of someone who has already shown disinterest is letting an excessive impulse control him, and that is not healthy. Why, after all, do some people chase the attention of those who are clearly not interested? Often this comes from an exacerbated sexual desire, which ends up exceeding personal and social limits. And one thing is certain, the female instinct notices these behaviors quickly. Trying to start a conversation is natural, but insisting when there is no reciprocity usually causes negative reactions. This excessive impulse, in many cases, is connected to the habit of masturbation and the consumption of pornography, both of which are extremely common and normalized, but which can have harmful effects. Isolated masturbation often leads to social isolation and, over time, affects self-confidence and even masculine energy. Modern culture is saturated with sexual images and stimuli, leading many to develop this habit from an early age, which ultimately weakens vitality and focus. It is important to be aware that these habits not only shape appearance, but affect the soul, presence, and mental health. In nature, we see that even animals respect mating cycles and periods. Masturbation is rare in the wild. When a man is obsessed with sexual liberation, it is reflected in his behavior and character, and these traits are often unattractive, especially to the opposite sex. Our virility, in a way, is linked to our sexual energy and the way we use it. By preserving it, we cultivate qualities such as strength, courage, and self-confidence, traits that naturally inspire respect and admiration. Another interesting question about the image of the stalker is the role of appearance. Often, the difference between someone seen as confident and a stalker is their level of physical attraction. More attractive men who act directly may be perceived as safe, while others may be viewed negatively. It seems unfair, but this is a biological reaction that influences our perceptions. However, physical appearance is not just genetic. Our thoughts and habits shape our image. People who live wildly without taking care of their health reflect this in their appearance. Those who indulge in an unruly lifestyle generally show signs of wear and tear that reveal a lack of care for themselves. Our culture teaches us to see appearance as something only inherited, but over time factors such as lifestyle and thoughts leave a much stronger mark. Thinking morally and practicing retention pay dividends in life. Studies indicate that constant sexual activity can accelerate aging and physical wear and tear. On the other hand, preserving sexual energy has always been seen, in different cultures, as a way of maintaining vitality and strengthening character. This energy is a life force, and without it, our motivation dissipates. Semen retention is not about suppressing sexuality, but rather preventing the constant loss of that energy. For those who find it difficult to reduce these urges, especially in a world where loneliness and access to technology facilitate these habits, the first step may be to change your lifestyle and seek more social interaction. This helps reduce opportunities for getting caught up in fantasies. For those who are more introverted, this change can be challenging, but stepping out of your comfort zone can help reduce the urge to isolate yourself. Playing sports or getting involved in artistic activities are also ways to occupy the mind and take the focus away from desire. Activities such as running, lifting weights, or playing football not only release endorphins, but also redirect the mind away from the state of excitement. Taking cold showers regularly is another effective way to reduce these urges and keep your body and mind in balance. And if you relapse, remember to renew your motivation. Reading books, watching inspiring videos, all of this helps to strengthen discipline. As Zig Ziglar says, motivation is like taking a shower. We need to constantly renew it so as not to lose its effect. So stay focused on the thoughts and actions that shape a more wholesome character. Degenerative thoughts form a degenerate character, and these practices harm not only the appearance, but the essence. Commit to semen retention and eliminate thoughts that distract from your true strength. By doing this, you will see more energy, harmony, and success in various areas of life, and you will develop a full and satisfying existence. Now stop and think. How many times have you felt like you were stuck in cycles that drain your energy and undermine your confidence? The feeling that no matter how hard you try, you end up falling back into the same habits and thoughts that weaken your purpose? If you really want to transform this and discover a path of strength and balance, it's time to act. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next content, and check out the next video to continue this journey of self-knowledge and growth. Let's unlock your true potential together.